Let's talk about the highlights from Down to Earth this time, and the main topic was COP26. So, what is about COP26 is the 26th Conference of Parties at Glasgow, and this was held by UN's FCCC, which is the United Nations Convention for Climate Change, and the code was the Red for Humanity. Now, here we focus on the extreme catastrophic events which have affected the Himalayan region, mainly the Uttarakhand, as well as the regions of Kerala. So, what have been the steps? There are two steps which have been mentioned. The first is to lose the endless process and negotiate demands, build trust, and focus on what has to be achieved. Focus on the polluters. The second step is focus on mitigation and planning for 2030. Then we focus on Paris Agreement. So there were two types of markets which have been discussed. First is internationally transferred mitigation outcomes under Article 6.2, and the other is Sustainable Development Mechanism under Article 6.4. So, the internationally transferred mitigation outcomes basically aim to establish bilateral markets similar to the European Union emission trading systems, and it aims to bring down the overall emissions, the overall global emissions. Now, it has both bilateral and multilateral approach and aims to bring in environmental integrity and sustainable development. The next is the Sustainable Development Mechanism. It talks about new ways to create international carbon market for the trade of emission cuts, globalized and centralized system for clean development mechanism. The next we are focusing on what is ahead. So the next thing we talk about is the clean development mechanism. Now under clean development mechanism, we focus on what should be allowed and what should not be allowed, and no country should agree to trade and sell their cheap options for carbon abatement. Now, COP26 must not be lost to negotiations and leadership. So, carbon budget is the first thing we talk about. Now, this budget includes the budget for various gases, including methane, nitrous oxide, or greenhouse gas. It talks about the sixth assessment report released by IPCC. Now, this is a separate topic which we have covered in detail separately. Very, very important, and there have been various reasons for making the budget for the same. The first is the pollutants, mainly the greenhouse gases like methane, carbon dioxide, have a very long span for which they remain in the atmosphere. The next is it is linked to economic growth. So as we generate more electricity, transport, or powerhouses, these emissions are ought to increase. They remain persistent, and these are mainly accumulated by the wealthy nations. So what is the focus? We need to talk about who are the major emitters, what are the per capita emissions, how large is the share of the emitters, how large the gas remains in the atmosphere, what is the budget that world needs to keep into mind, what is the net zero level that has to be achieved, and the country is working forward for it. So as you can see, for carbon dioxide the half life is 150 to 200 years, but at the same time for fluorinated gas it is up to 10,000 years. That means it remains in the atmosphere for a very, very prolonged period of time. The prime polluters are mainly China, US, and European Union, the 27 nations. India and Africa, with 17% of the population, contribute to just 4% by Africa and 7% by India. So, we, in terms of pollution, are still very far away. But in 2019, the world released the total amount of carbon dioxide, which were mainly from the fossil fuels and cement sector. China was among the major emitters, which contributed to 28%. Now we have seen how this pollution has been increased. The seven historical polluters, which are marked here in the yellow line, have remained consistent, but the next to it is China, which has substantially increased in the last few decades. India, not that far, but the rest of the world again has increased. So we need to have the nationally determined goals for each of the countries, the nationally determined contributions, what we call as NDCs, and these were adopted under the Paris Agreement in 2015. The idea was to curtail and limit the impact of greenhouse gases and the emissions globally. So there have been various trackers which have been installed, and this climate action tracker is an independent scientific analysis made by two German organizations, Climate Analytics and New Climate Climate Institute. Now, this talks about how the proportions have increased. Ethiopia, which has committed to reduce 14% unconditional and 68% conditional by 2030. Zambia again has talked about reducing the emissions internationally. Now, this is how we talk about the national scenario. The global emissions were at 33 gigatons, and we need to keep the temperature rising below 1.5 degrees Celsius globally. So, we need to cut down the amount of emissions, the greenhouse gas emissions, mainly carbon dioxide and methane, into the atmosphere. We would see how the per capita emissions have been there, and China has been a substantial contributor. India, again, the contribution has increased in terms of per capita emissions, and then we have rest of the world definitely contributing a huge amount. Now, if we talk about the current culprits, it is mainly the 7 historic polluters, which are the 7 nations: the US, UK, Russia, Australia, Japan, Canada, and EU, followed by China, and then we have India at 7%. So significantly more way to go. Now, for the nationally determined contributions in 2015, the countries were invited to submit their nationally determined contributions, and this time the Paris Agreement was adopted. In 2018, the Lunar Dialogue was there, which talked about achieving the goals of Paris Agreement. In 2020, formal nationally determined contribution cycle began, and in 2023 we aim to have a evaluation of the collective progress which has been done in this line. Now, the 5th assessment report was published in 2014. The highlights of this have been mentioned again. For 2030 we have the further targets that are achieved. Now, here, before the climate convention, as we can see, the top 7 polluters contributed to 60%. However, in the coming decade, the top 7 polluters aim to contribute only 27%, but China's share has been rising significantly from 13% to 30%, which is a significantly high jump, as we can see. Now, the goals under the nationally determined contributions have not been ambitious for most of the nations. We have been talking about reduction per capita emissions, but the countries are there which have focused on achieving it, but it is yet to be achieved. Government has been providing support for the production of fossil fuels through new taxes, which are incentives, guarantees, regulatory changes, and so on. Then we have Emission Gap Report 2021, which talks about putting the world on track for the global temperature rise of 2.7 degrees Celsius by the end of century, and the global warming could be reduced by another 0.5% with implementation of net zero targets. So this is where we focus on the ambition and the production gap. So countries' plans and projections as compared to the consistency with 2 degrees, and so this is the line with 2 degrees Celsius, and this is the line with 1 degree Celsius production, and this is the production gap that has been seen here. Now, coming on next, we have the different agendas. So we would be talking about Agenda 1, which was carbon net zero, then Agenda 2, which was coal fuel of comfort, Agenda 4 focusing on market mechanism, Agenda 5 on climate finance, then we have nature based solution for Agenda 8, and so on. So net carbon zero is under Agenda 1, and this talks about human activities result in no net effect on the climate systems. Net zero is not part of the Paris Agreement, and 65 nations out of the 192 nations have announced the net zero targets. Now, in law, we have these nations which have come up as national legislatures for net zero target. However, there are countries which have formal domestic policies for net zero, and these are the list of the nations for the same. The nations which have announced a political event and a political pledge are the list which is given here. And then, so the next is Agenda 2, which is coal, which talks about the share of coal in electricity. 34% of the world electricity comes from coal. The countries occupying most of the coal pipelines are China, Vietnam, India, Turkey, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. And then we have other nations who are major consumers like Japan, South Africa, Russia, South Korea. We have the IPCC's 2018 report, which talks about the peak level of coal use, which has to brought to limit. And then the share of electricity mix should reduce it close to 0% by 2050. The first nations to phase out coal are the OECD nations and the former Soviet Union. These are considered as natural sinks, so forests are under threat from from wildfires, then droughts, rising temperature, and industrial logging. And then we have various carbon removal technologies, for example, carbon capture and storage, direct air capture and storage. So all these methods have been used in order to curtail the emissions of carbon into the atmosphere. And then the fossil fuel dependency, as we can see, we have a very high dependency on coal followed by oil and gas. So those are the major segments that we can see here. The third is China, the rising power of China and the rising amount of emissions. The emissions have surpassed US in 2005, and this has become world's largest emitter as of now. It would not be mainly the coal fired plant abroad only, but there are many other things, for example, the power sector, even the sectors where renewable energy have increased. We have seen China's dominant role in terms of global carbon dioxide emissions. It has ranked first in the production of wafer cell and modules globally. And for production of all this, ultimately we have higher amount of carbon emissions into the atmosphere. The next is the market mechanisms. This comes via the carbon credits and the emission reductions in global south. We are talking about selling the credits, which could be considered as a judgmental call since all the countries have emission reduction targets. We have talked about carbon market mechanisms. The countries of carbon credit become difficult since the nationally determined contributions of the parties are not standardized. Then we focus on Agenda 5, which is climate finance. Now, climate finance is how money can be brought into for climate purpose, and we have recognized finance and technology as the two main pillars for transformation. Managing the financial transfers under UNFCCC in 1994 has been important. The adaptation fund has been set up in 2001. We also talk about the standing committee, the developmental countries, and the focus on the figures. The next is the adaptation goal, where we adapt for climate change given the frequency and the severity of the weather events and the climate events, bringing in cost resilient infrastructure, weather related infrastructure, and national adaptation plans for the same. The next is adaptation gap report 2020. We talk about the projects and the funds which have to be taken into account. The next is loss and damage. Polluters do not pay, and we aim that the polluters should pay. So who is really responsible for the damage should be responsible for the payment. So under COP16, loss and damage work program was started, and this created the Warsaw International Mechanisms on Loss and Damage. 80% of the natural disasters were caused due to floods and storms. So floods and storms have been one of the major factors. The next is nature based solution. We are talking about better choice of trees, better management, focusing on reducing climate emissions from deforestation or forest degradation, and conservation of forest stocks. We are also talking about carbon offsets and the mechanisms to promote it. We next is the nature and the net zero report. So how the things can be brought into account, how we can control deforestation, avoid emissions, reforestation, cover crop are some of the other methods that have to be adopted. The next is in across the world we have young people who are coming forward for environmental movements. For example, Greta Thunberg, we all know. Then we have Arshna Soring from Odisha, who has been a member of UN Secretary General Youth Climate Advisory Board and has been working with nature and indigenous people. Sanju Sonam, Hina Saifi, Kabadiwala Connect are some of the people. And then we have another company which is Kabadiwala Connect from Chennai, which offers smart waste management solutions. We are also talking about acknowledging the gaps which can be in the form of bringing in proper solutions, renewable sources, catalyzing the climate action process, and bringing in a behavioral shift among the people, especially from the northeast where climate crisis is on its worst. So this edition was mainly focused on COP26, the outcomes of those, and the 8 agendas which have been discussed. The Agenda 5, which is climate finance, the Agenda 8, which is nature-based solution, and Agenda 1, carbon net zero, are some of the major agendas under it. We would be covering Down to Earth every fortnightly, so stay tuned for our next Down to Earth edition. Till then, stay tuned. Good luck.